Welcome, friends. I am Dr. V.K. Chauhan, homeopathic physician, and we are revising homeopathic remedy Agaricus Muscarius. This is part 4B, PQR review in classical form. The text is entirely from Ellen's Keynote, and this is a good revision for homeopathic BHMS students. In Ellen's Keynote, we find running text, and each sentence, as we see, represents a red line symptom or PQR. Now we have reoriented the following slides in sequence and continuity of a classical format for ease of recall. So Agaricus Muscarius will go to the constitution, psychic aspect, PQR 4 comes first. Delirium with constant raving tries to get out of bed in typhoid or typhus. Somatically, the patient is having light hair, skin, and lax muscles. PQR second tells us about it is best suited to the old people with weak indolent circulation. We find thermal affinity that PQR 18 patient is extremely sensitive to cold air like calcarea, calicarb, and sorinum. Side affinity we find PQR 90 complaints appear diagonally upper left and lower right, as we know that this is the similar symptom which we find in antimonium tart, stramonium, and then upper right and lower left is ambra, bromium, medorinum, phosphorus, and sulfuric acid. The diathesis is for headache, especially headache, predisposed to headache of those who really become delirious over fever with pain, of persons subject to chorea, twitchings, or grimaces from spinal affections. So these are the symptoms which are very much predisposed to the agaricus patient. Ailments from you will find PQR3, drunkard, especially for their headaches, bad effect after debauch. And PQR6 tells us about chilblains that itch and burn intolerably, frostbite, and all consequences of exposure to cold, especially in the facial region. PQR 13 tells us about spinal irritation due to sexual excess, and PQR 14 is nervous prostration after sexual debauch. PQR 15 is epilepsy from suppressed eruptions. PQR 18 tells us about prolapsus post-climacteric, bearing down pains almost intolerable. So the exciting cause here is age, which is not in your control. So after childbearing, multiple childbearing probably during post-climacteric period, this patient suffers most from the prolapses. Characteristic generals involve PQR7, involuntary movements while awake, seizures during sleep, chorea from simple motions and jerks of single muscles to dancing of the whole body, trembling of whole body. This has got a very wide range of symptoms which affect one part of the body as well as the whole body. The PQR8 is sensation as if eyes touched or ice cold needles were piercing the skin as from hot needles. And PQR9 tells us about the burning, itching redness of various parts, ears, nose, face, hands and feet, parts red, swollen and hot. The characteristic particular features we find that there is PQR16. Every motion, every turn of body causes pain in the spine. And single vertebra is very sensitive to touch. PQR tells us about uncertainty in walking, stumbles over everything in the way, and heel pain as if bitten when standing. This is fasciitis, plantar fasciitis. PQR 11 tells us about spine sensitive to touch, worse in the morning, and PQR 12 is pain, sore, aching in lumbar and sacral regions during exertion in the day time and while standing. We have relationships similar to Ectia, Calcarea, Cannabis indica, Hyoscyamus caliphos, Lachesis, Nux vomica, opium, and stramonium. And in delirium of alcoholism, it is similar to Mygale, Theridion, Zincum in Korea. So aggravation is after eating, after coitus, cold air, mental application, and before a thunderstorm, similar to phosphorus and sorinum. The amelioration part is not given in Ellen's keynote, please recall. Thank you very much for your patient listening.